Let's get to it. Talking a little bit more of an off-season focus, because that's kind of the time of year we are right now at this recording. Talk about swim, bike, and run speed. So we're not talking about anything else. Speed's a little bit more conducive to obviously swim, bike, and run. I talked a little bit about strength before, and that's want to make sure I differentiate between the strength in the gym, throwing around weights, versus the strength in swim, bike, and run. So for this conversation, it's going to be all about what we do in the swim, bike, and the run to work on speed, produce speed, and train with speed. So speed work is relative. Let's set that up front, because the speed you're doing for sprint, Olympic, or 70.3 or 140.6 distances is all relative. You're not going to be doing the same speeds unless you're a professional triathlete. You're not going to be doing the same speed for a full that we would for a half that we would for a sprint. Sprint, shorter distances, you can go harder, quicker, and it's not a problem. But speed work is going to be relative. Talking about Ironman, if we're looking at Ironman Chattanooga 70.3, that speed for a half Ironman is hopefully going to be a little bit quicker pace than you would do for the full in Ironman Chattanooga. But we want to make sure that we're looking at speed in relative to the distance you're doing. But in the off-season program, it's kind of speed is speed. Speed is more of a threshold, as hard as you can. You're going to be doing it in a little bit more incremental intervals. It's not going to be all out for extended periods of time. There are, if you see here, here's a snapshot of the off-season plan that I produced for each one of these groups, the Chattanooga 70.3 people. Hopefully you're in the middle of this, because right now, you know, that off-season ends kind of in January, and then we're looking at race specific, because that race is in May. It's actually not that far off, so let's not get too far caught in the weeds of Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and all the other holidays. Make sure that you're into this program. If you got any questions, just always reach out to me. Even if you just bought my off-season program or race-specific plan or anything, if you're watching this video, contact me if you got any questions about the off-season plan. I always will help you out. I want to make sure that you get the most out of it. I don't just put it out there just for grins and giggles. I want you to get in there and really get the most effect out of there so you can get the results you want to. So the key is, if you look at a few of these, you got threshold runs, a 4x4 minutes. So this one's a little bit different. I mean, it's not going to be your 30 seconds, but it's going to be a threshold. But over that 4 minutes, you need to pace yourself so you can last that 4 minutes. But at the end, you're going to be gassed out. And all you could do is to keep that set going. But there's also going to be some speed in the bike workouts too, that it's going to be 30 seconds as hard as you can. There's going to be some runs. There's some track sessions in there. It's going to be 100 meters as hard as you can, 400 meters as hard as you can. So we're working up the distances and change it up a little bit. So you got some threshold stuff over extended periods of time, but for the most part, they're really super hard, zone 6, zone 7, whatever you want to call it. You're going to be looking at incremental intervals, because you're doing damage to your muscles. And that's any kind of strength training. You're always kind of doing microscopical damage to your muscles that you'll need a low recovery period, and then do the next damage. And then in your plan, notice most days there's a swim the next day. So that takes all the focus off the muscles that you just used and damaged and abused in these workouts. The next day you have a little bit of recovery so you can create some adaptations. And in the plan, there's cycles where you have hard work for a couple of weeks, and then a transition week where it's just a bunch of aerobic work to allow those adaptations to occur, to avoid causing injuries or anything like that. But the general kind of consensus applies. You cannot get faster without going faster. You can go through and do your off-season plan and just do straight volume all you want. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, it won't make you faster. You make it a little bit faster as you produce some muscular endurance to be able to ride your speed for longer periods of time. You may not get that top end speed up, but you may be able to hold 17 miles per hour instead of 16 over a 50-mile ride. So you keep doing enough 50-mile rides, eventually your average speed over the whole time is going to keep going up, because you're not going to fall off as much as the end. You're not going to start off at 20 and into 15. You may start off at 20 and into 17, and your average works out to be 16. But generally, you're not going to get faster. The pool's a little bit different, but usually the run and the bike, you're not going to get faster unless you're out there going faster, unless on these thresholds, unless on the track sets, you're really pushing the high end. Excuse me. If you want to get that speed, Now, if you're in a situation where maybe you have a few injuries or speed isn't your thing, you can always back them off and do them to a level of your body's capacity. So don't ever go through and do these workouts and it's like, oh, this is going to be painful and my IT's acting up or whatever. Then it's time to go back and reassess what your plan is and what you're doing. But if everything's good, you've got the green light, you're ready to go, you've got to go fast in those sets. If you want to produce adaptations that make your body faster over time, you've got to take this off-season plan seriously and do the speed work. You've got to go out there. It's shorter sessions, but you got to suffer for them. So small pain equals incremental adaptations. And what I mean with pain, it's a good pain, muscular pain. It's your lungs are burning, they're on fire, and you put everything you have into that set, whether it be 30 seconds, 4 minutes for threshold. At the end of it, you're done, you're cooked, you're ready for recovery. And after the workout, you are ready to recover. You're ready to do your nutrition properly, so you have recovery for that. Ready to take care of your body, whether it's good rest, whether it's doing your recovery boots, getting active massage, doing rollers, whatever you're doing. Make sure you're taking yourself on care of yourself on the other side, because you can do all this work and it may be more detrimental than helpful if you're not, aside from the workouts, doing the proper things to recover properly. So generally with the speed, you're working your VO2, your capacity of your body to oxygenate muscles, to take in the oxygen from the lungs, transport it to your muscles. You're improving your body's ability to do that. So as you kill yourself over 4 minutes on a threshold run, first, it may just be, man, I can average about 10 minutes per mile is what I got. And I'm burned, my lungs are on fire, can't get enough oxygen, my legs stop firing after 3.5 minutes is all I could do to finish the 4 minutes. Over time, you do it for long periods of time, you go back and redo this, do an intermittent fitness test. Over time, you should see on this off-season plan an increase in your VO2 max, and your fitness tests will show that. Your heart rate will go down, your speeds will go up, which means you're becoming more economical at higher speeds. Your body can do things to be able to process oxygen to your muscles to produce speed quicker. So you should see a gain in the smaller, shorter distances. If you do some 5Ks, 10Ks, you should be able to see immediately kind of some gains in speed. I always recommend fitness tests about 4 to 6 weeks to just kind of map out, get a benchmark and then map out kind of what you're doing as you're going along, because the whole goal of the off-season plan is if you start here, 2019 season ends, call it off-season, post-season, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes some people just don't take time off, and this is what they do for fun. This is what they like. Other people, it's just, I need a break. But pick and choose if you need to, and hit the speed, hit the strength, do those sessions. Zone 2 is good, but at the end of the day, you can always come back and do more Zone 2 work. But the speed, especially if you have a solid off-season program, that if you're hitting, maybe Chattanooga 70.3 in May is your first half Ironman you're going to do, this is all new to you. So I wouldn't skip too much of it at all, especially you want to build up a good, solid fitness base. I don't want to say base because I don't want to see athletes going through and just doing a bunch of volume. That's fine and dandy, but there's also opportunities to get some fitness, to really get a good base of fitness to where you start your race specific plan that I'm going to be sending out around January, that you can hit that and really do well at your race, really feel good, have a good time, hit the times maybe you're thinking in your mind, or just really surprise yourself on race day, more than just come through and slogging across to the finish line and be like, oh my God, I finished, but I felt horrible. I don't want you to feel horrible. I want you to get the result you want, whether it's hitting a PR, whether it's finishing feeling good, or just finishing in general. But this off-season plan will help you get there. But it's only effective if you go through and you do the workouts you need to. Speed is in there for a reason. Strength is in there for a reason. Tempo, Zone 2 stuff's in there for a reason. So make sure that you hit it. Make sure that you're doing it properly. Make sure you're not injuring yourself while doing it. So if you go out there and you already feel like you're not feeling well, maybe it's time to kind of reassess and reevaluate. Maybe send me a message like, hey, what do you think? Injured, what should I do? And I'll give you a recommendation. I'm not a physician. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not registered. I don't have the schooling necessary for that. But with racing and training athletes since 2004. I've experienced enough myself. I've experienced enough of my athletes to say, hey, before we get into a problem or you're going to have to go see a doctor or have something done, let's back off. Let's go to this, do that, do whatever. I can give you recommendations that'll help you with that. But if you're in a good space, man, hit those speed workouts, especially if you want to take 2019 and you want 2020 to be way up here and you want to really hit it hard. Now's the time. These speed workouts are really going to get you there, along with the strength sessions that I've talked about before, along with the tempo sessions and the other aerobic sessions. But the speed stuff is really going to get that fitness, that base fitness, to a point where you can really push it and get the maximum out of all your workouts later on down the road when you hit the race specific plan. So that in general, I just wanted to talk about off-season focus as far as the swim, bike, and run workouts and why there is speed mixed in there and the importance of it. And not just to say, well, I'm just going to skip the speed stuff because that's uncomfortable. Don't do it. If you really want to make your transition to off-season to 2020, you want to be in a good spot, or any season, you want to make sure that you hit all those speed workouts and really get the full effect of them. So if you've got any questions about them, like I said, send me a message, send me an email, comment on a video, and I'll get back to you.